Hello friends, in Anti-Epileptic Drugs Part 3, we will learn about newer anti-epileptic agents, their details and management of epilepsy and status epilepticus. These newer anti-epileptic agents are mostly add-on drugs. They have more favorable safety profile in terms of toxicity, teratogenicity and drug interaction as compared to the all classical agents. Newer anti-epileptic drugs are tiagabine, gabapentin, pregabalin, topiramate, lamotrigine, levetiracetam, zonisamide, lacosamide, and vigabatrin. The first drug we talk is tiagabine. Mechanism of action of tiagabine is it inhibits the GABA transporter 1, and so by that it reduces the GABA uptake by neurons and glia, and thus it increases the GABA content of brain and prolongs the inhibitory action of GABA released into the synapse. It is well absorbed orally with bioavailability of about 90 to 100%. Food as such reduces its peak concentration. It is highly plasma protein bound drug and it is oxidized in the liver and eliminated both in feces and urine. Doses may be reduced in poor hepatic function. Indications of tiagabine. As an adjuvant, it is primarily used for partial seizures, though in some patients may be effective as a monotherapy also. As an adjuvant, it is used in some refractory epilepsy. Side effects are like dizziness, confusion, nausea, tremors, depression, etc. Rarely, it can cause rashes and psychosis. Gabapentin was originally developed as spasmolytic, later on found to be effective anticonvulsant. Its mechanism of action is it is GABA analog and thus it increases GABA concentration by affecting GABA metabolism, its non-synaptic release and its uptake by GABA transporter. It also modulates the calcium channels. That means it combines with the voltage gated calcium channels, reduces calcium entry and thus reduces synaptic release of glutamate. If we talk about the pharmacokinetic, it follows carrier dependent saturation absorption from the intestine. It is not plasma protein bound and oral bioavailability is about 50%. It does not undergo any metabolism and excreted unchanged, and the another thing important is there is no enzyme induction, so it can safely be combined with the other enzyme inducer antiepileptics such as phenobarbital, phenytoin, etc. Side effects are it is relatively safe even after the overdosing, but some side effects like drowsiness, ataxia, weight gain may be there. Therapeutic indication, it is used in drug-resistant partial and generalized tonic-clonic seizure. It is also effective in treatment of neuropathic pain and post-herpetic neuralgia. It may relieve acute muscle spasm also. Pregabalin, it acts by increasing GABA concentration in brain and other mechanisms similar to gabapentin. It is well absorbed orally with 70% bioavailability. T-half is about 6 to 8 hours. It is not plasma protein bound and not metabolized in the body. It is used as an adjuvant for partial seizure with secondary generalized or without secondary generalized seizure, as well as it is used for neuropathic pain associated with diabetes mellitus, spinal cord injury, post-herpetic neuralgia, fibromyalgia, and restless syndrome. It is considered the drug of choice for painful diabetic neuropathy. If we see the adverse effect, it may cause sedation, dizziness, and ataxia-like side effects. Topiramate, its mechanism of action is as such broad spectrum. It acts by maintaining the inactivated state of sodium channel. It facilitates GABA action by acting at a site other than benzodiazepines or barbiturate on GABA receptors, as well as it blocks the excitatory action of glutamate through AMPA receptors. If we talk about the pharmacokinetic, it is well absorbed orally with about 80% bioavailability. The plasma protein binding is only about 15%, and major part of the drug is excreted unchanged in the urine because only 20 to 40% is metabolized without any active metabolites. The plasma half-life is about 20 to 30 hours, but it may be increased in hepatic or renal dysfunction. It does not cause enzyme induction, but it reduces the concentration of oral contraceptive pills, but mechanism behind that is not clear. Side effects are like sedation, dizziness, fatigue, cognitive slowing or dysfunction, and paresthesia. It should be withdrawn if acute myopia or glaucoma occurs. It also causes urolithiasis, and it is also teratogenic. It can cause hypospadias in male infants. Indications that it is most useful drug for generalized tonic-clonic seizure, partial seizure, absence seizure, and Algey syndrome. For migraine, it is used for prophylactic purpose, and it is also used for prevention of alcohol, nicotine, and cocaine addiction. Lamotrigine, it acts by, again, broad spectrum mechanisms. It directly blocks voltage sensitive sodium channels and delays its recovery from inactivation, and stabilizes the presynaptic membrane and reduces the neuronal excitability. It prevents the release of excitatory neurotransmitter like aspartate and glutamate also, and also blocks the calcium T current at higher doses. Its plasma T half is about 24 hours. Therapeutic indications of lamotrigine, it is useful for partial seizures, generalized tonic-clonic seizure, secondary generalized seizure, absence seizure, atonic seizure, myoclonic epilepsy in children, as well as in the Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. It is also used for prophylactic purpose of mania, as well as some side effects that are noted are like sedation, headache, dizziness, ataxia, and diplopia. The rashes, which are most common in children, and even life-threatening dermatitis may occur in pediatric patients, but this is not common. Stevens-Johnson syndrome and disseminated intravascular coagulation are noted, but that are rare. Drug interactions may be with enzyme inducers and inhibitors. Enzyme inducers may reduce the plasma concentration of the drug, and inhibitors may increase the plasma concentration of the drug. Levetiracetam, it is paracetam analog developed to improve cognitive function, and its anti-convulsant property was discovered by chance. The mechanism of action of this drug is not clear, but it is said that it binds to the synaptic vesicular protein 2A and inhibits the release of glutamate and increases the concentration of GABA. It is said to affect allosteric modulation of GABA, high voltage activated calcium channels, as well as potassium channels. The pharmacokinetics of levetiracetam is its oral absorption is rapid, complete, and not affected by food, with nearly 100% oral bioavailability. The plasma TF is 6 to 8 hours, and most of the drug is excreted unchanged in the urine. The uses of levetiracetam are, it is used mainly as an adjuvant for partial seizures, generalized tonic-clonic seizures, and myoclonic seizure. It causes minimal drug interaction, but the important thing is it is not approved for use in children less than 4 years. Adverse effects noted are only sedation and dizziness. Other side effects are very much less. Zonisamide, it is sulfonamide derivative. It acts by blockade of sodium channels primarily, and also calcium T current. It also inhibits carbonic anhydrase inhibitor in brain. Its oral absorption is good and it is less plasma protein bound, but it has longer plasma half-life, that is about 1 to 3 days, and it is excreted in urine. The most common side effects which are noted are like drowsiness, anorexia, weight loss, cognitive impairment, ataxia, and skin rashes. It is useful for partial and generalized seizure, infantile spasms, and myoclonic seizures. Now, lacosamide. It acts by increasing the slow inactivation of voltage-gated sodium channels and by blocking effect of brain-derived neurotropic factor. It also inhibits collapsing response mediator protein. Pharmacokinetics. It is well absorbed orally with almost 100% bioavailability, and its plasma half-life is about 13 hours and plasma protein binding is negligible. It is not an enzyme inducer, so drug interactions are less. It is used as an adjuvant in treatment of partial seizures and secondary generalized seizures. Side effects noted are like headache and dizziness. Vigabatrin, it is an inhibitor of GABA transaminase enzyme which degrades GABA. It is acting irreversibly. So it increases the GABA concentration in the brain and increases the GABAergic neurotransmission. Pharmacokinetics, it is very well absorbed and no appreciable binding to plasma protein is noted. It is not metabolized and excreted unchanged in the urine. Vigabatrin is effective in many patients with refractory epilepsy, especially in complex partial seizures with or without generalization and in infantile spasm. It is approved only for adjuvant medication. Side effects are noted like visual field contraction, alteration of color vision, behavioral changes, paresthesias, sedation, amnesia, depression, psychosis, etc. And because of so long list of these toxic side effects, it has been restricted for use and you remain as a reserve drug. We have discussed about phosphanytoin when we talked about the phenytoin sodium, and about oxcarbazepine and acecarbazepine when we have talked about carbamazepine in our previous lecture. Now we talk about management of epilepsy. See, anti-epileptic drugs, they do not treat the condition as such, do not cure, but they suppress the seizure episodes. With the present available drugs, the seizure activity is controlled in half of the patient, and about 20 to 30% patient have partial control in seizure activity, but the remaining one, they remain refractory as a refractory cases. First, what you have to do is you have to identify the cause, if any, and then it should be treated. And the symptomatic treatment of epilepsy requires a choice of particular drug and its dose, and that is depends on the type of epilepsy and individual patient characteristic. Here in the table you can see the choice of anti-seizure drugs. Here in the first column, type of seizure is given, then in the second one, first line agents, alternative agents, and reserve drugs are listed. So if we see in the partial seizures, the first line agents are carbamazepine, lamotrigine, valproate, and oxcarbazepine, while alternative agents are levetiracetam, clobazam, phenytoin, gabapentin, and topiramate. In generalized seizure, in tonic-clonic condition, valproate, lamotrigine, and carbamazepine is the first line agents. For absence seizure, valproate and ethosuximide. For myoclonic seizure, again valproate, and for atonic seizure, again valproate is a first line agent. So you can see here that valproate is used in most of the seizures. So it has having broad spectrum use. For febrile seizure, diazepam is a drug of choice, and in the status epilepticus, lorazepam remains as a first-line agent. About status epilepticus, we will learn in detail in the next slides. Here you can have a look on other alternative as well as reserved drugs for the same condition. Usually, treatment should be initiated early and start with a single drug, preferably at a lower dose, and the dosage should be gradually increased till the full control of seizure achieved or side effect may appear. If you are changing the one drug to another, then the dose of first drug should be gradually reduced and that of the another drug should be gradually increased till the second drug regime is fully established. If the monotherapy fails, you have to use combination. But whenever you are using combination, the drug should be having different mechanisms. A single tonic-clonic seizure in any patient with no predisposing factor like say head injury or family history or having any neurological abnormality, the drug therapy should not be started. If the drug should be withdrawn, that it should be gradually withdrawn, because the abrupt stopping of therapy without giving any another drug, it can precipitate the seizure activity, or we can say status epilepticus. Stoppage of therapy may be tried in some of the condition like say childhood epilepsy, absence of family history, or primary generalized tonic-clonic epilepsy, recent onset at start of treatment, or absence of cerebral disorder and normal uh, interseizure EEG. Dose regulation should be done with monitoring of steady-state plasma concentration. As we have already learned that the some of the drugs, they are peculiarly act at specific range of plasma concentration, so that should be monitored and the doses adjustment depending upon the response of the patient should be done. In the females who are on antiepileptic agents, if she conceives, the therapy should not be stopped, because if we stop the therapy abruptly, it can precipitate a status epilepticus. We can try to reduce the doses but with precaution. The most teratogenic agent, valproate, should be replaced with some safer agent. The female should be given folic acid supplement in second and third trimester with vitamin K, so that the chances of neural tube defects and bleeding disorders may be not seen in neonate. In febrile seizures, usually the children who are under 5 years of age, they develop convulsion during the fever, and the seizures may occur every time with the fever, so we should try that they do not develop the fever and the temperature should not be increased. So what we have to do is whenever there is a temperature increase chances are there, we can use paracetamol and external cooling to lower it down, right? So whenever febrile conversion is there already, then we can give rectal diazepam with that should be given about 0.5 milligram per kg, or if it is not available, we can use IV injection also. Then if the recurrent febrile convulsions are there, we can use prophylaxis with diazepam. Either we can use orally or by rectal route, that is at the onset of fever. Infantile spasm, usually the treatment of infantile spasm is not we can say satisfactory, but corticosteroids, they afford symptomatic relief, but it cannot be used for long term because of various adverse effect of itself, right? But antiepileptic drugs like clonazepam, valproate and vigabatrin may have some advantage in infantile spasm. Now let us see the management of status epilepticus. Status epilepticus is a life-threatening emergency. There is a recurrent tonic-clonic convulsions without recovery of consciousness in between occurs, and seizure activity occurs more than 30 minutes, right? So what we have to do is here immediate cardiovascular, respiratory and metabolic management with pharmacological therapy is required. And for pharmacological therapy, IV administration of various anti-epileptic drugs are given. So first, what you have to do is we have to hospitalize the patient, then airway should be maintained, proper IV line should be taken for the collecting of samples and for intravenous infusion, and then we have to correct the hypoglycemia by 20 to 50 ml of 50% dextrose injection, which is given intravenously, and fluid and electrolyte balance should be maintained. For drug treatment, lorazepam is a first choice agent. It is given 4 mg IV injection at a rate of 2 mg per minute, and it is repeated once after 10 minutes if required. So it is the first choice drug and it is effective in about most of the patient, and the effect of the lorazepam is more sustained, or we can say it is a longer acting. It remains about 6 to 12 hours as compared to the diazepam. Alternatively, we can also give diazepam intravenously. Till now, diazepam was the standard therapy that is used. Diazepam is given about 10 mg intravenous bolus, and it can be repeated once after 10 minutes if required. However, its anti-convulsant effect reduces after 20 minutes, and so many doses that should be supplemented. And as compared to the lorazepam, the intravascular damage occurs more. So lorazepam is preferred nowadays. Then the second drug that should be given is fosphenytoin intravenously, about 100 to 150 milligram per minute. But the ECG monitoring should be continued with the IV fosphenytoin. It is given irrespective of response to the first drug, that is lorazepam. It may reduce the seizure that may not respond to the lorazepam. We can alternatively give phenytoin sodium, loading dose about 13 to 18 milligram per kg up to maximum 50 milligram per minute. But it has more local vascular complication as compared to fosphenytoin. But so when fosphenytoin is not available, you can go for phenytoin sodium. If with the previous drug like lorazepam and fosphenytoin, if the seizures are not controlled, we can use phenobarbital larger doses, that is about 50 to 100 milligram per minute IV injection to a maximum of about 10 milligram per kg. Right. There is chance of respiratory depression with phenobarbital larger doses, especially if the patient is on prior benzodiazepine therapy. Even if these 3 drugs treatment patient seizures are not controlled, we can go for general anesthesia, and that is we can say that the highly resistant cases. So we can use midazolam, propofol or thiopentone with or without DTC, and with this drugs therapy we can preferably we can say treat the status epilepticus condition. So here we end our discussion on newer anti-epileptic agents and management of epilepsy. So we have completed the anti-epileptic drugs in 3 parts. Thank you. Stay safe.